The military forces of the People's Republic of China consist of the People's Liberation Army in active service and reserve service, the People's Armed Police and Militia.
Now the march past of the military parade begins.
So we have the highlights of the
parade
now.
Is led by the National Guard of Honor, drawn from the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. Altogether 14 troop formations on foot, 30 troop formations with equipment and 12 echelons. They come from various military area commands, armed police and troops under the direct leadership of the military headquarters and the reserve force of Beijing's militia.
It shows the construction results of building the military as a civilized and a peaceful force. The music of the ceremony is played by the PLA military band.
They have increasingly shown their presence in regional and international security operations, and they have won respect from the Chinese people as well as the international community with their contribution to world peace and stability.
The People's Army has won respect from Chinese people as well as the international society with their actions.
The PLA flag is the symbol of honor and the sign of victory. Guarding the PLA flag across Tiananmen Square is the Guard of Honor drawn from the Army, Navy and Air Force. This group has performed this task over 3,000 times. It has witnessed many historic moments, like the return of Hong Kong and Macau.
Up are the Army cadets from the Shijia Mechanized Infantry Academy. During the past 82 years, China's military education has combined schooling and military training. A great cohort of new generation military personnel has become the main force in building up a modernized army.
Is an infantry troop from the well-known the Red Army 1st Division, which has an honorable history. The Chinese Army has developed into a modernized army consisting of armed force, artillery, armored force, air defense force, electronic warfare troops and air corps. Given the requirements of mobile combat and attack and defense, the Army is integrating land and air combat abilities, long-range mobility and fast, short combat capability.
This is a new addition to the parade. The Special Force Formation is making its debut this time. Chinese Special Forces are transferring from the traditional scout troops to the new type of special combat troops.
cadets from the Dalian Surface Ships Academy, which has marched in all parades for National Day celebrations. The Navy has developed water surface craft, submarines, aviation, Coast Guards and Navy Marine Forces. The Navy is improving its open sea mobility and combat capabilities.
Sailor formation comes from the Naval Submarine Academy. They are the youngest team in the parade with an average age of 18. The new generation of sailors is helping to build a powerful naval force.
Stepping forward is the Marine Corps. The Marines are skilled in both land and sea combat. They are an important force in protecting China's sea territory and supporting island combat.
Cadets from the Aviation University of the Chinese Air Force. The Air Force has aviation, air defense, airborne, radar, and electronic countermeasure forces. It has always been improving its capability in air attack, defense, strategic delivery, and airborne combat.
Squadron formation is selected from troops which fought the Korean War in the early 1950s. More recently, they parachuted into the mountainous areas during rescue operations following last year's Wenchuan earthquake in southwest China's Sichuan province.
Now come cadets from the 2nd Artillery Corps. The 2nd Artillery Corps is an important deterrent force. Its capability of strategic nuclear counterattack and mid- and long-range accurate strikes have been greatly enhanced. The SAC is a strong support for our national security and development.
Medical University, the Beijing Military Area Command, the Navy and the Air Force. Women can be seen on the front line of fighting disasters, in guard points from mountain to sea, and in every aspect of the armed forces duties.
Here come the armed police. They maintain national security, social stability, and protect people's lives and properties. The armed police branch are under both the Central Military Commission and the State Council.
Reserve service formation comes from the Beijing Reserve Cannon Division. The troop is composed of military officers in active service and soldiers in reserve service. It is an important complementary force to the military.
composed of the Capital Women's Militia. The militia is the backup force for the country. They are composed of civil servants, enterprise employees, and college students. This is actually the last soldiers formation. Coming up next is the equipment formation for the military parade.
And now air echelons have just started to take off from 7 different air bases around Beijing. Altogether, over 150 planes will be flying over Tiananmen Square.
Now 30 equipment formations are coming. All the armaments under review were developed in China. 90% are being shown to the public for the first time, reflecting China's latest technology. Here comes the first battle tank formation. They are from a Red Army regiment garrisoning at the foot of the Taihang Mountains. At the 1984 military parade, this formation was composed of motorbikes. In 1999, it was a mechanized infantry chariot formation. Today, they are computerized Type 99 main battle tanks.
Next is the 96A main battle tank formation. This model is the major force in the military. The infantry is reforming for better integration and mobility and to increase combat capability in the information age.
The O5 amphibious combat vehicle formation is arriving. It is from a troop that participated in the August 1st Nanchang uprising in 1927. This is the first amphibious fighting vehicle troop in China's military history. The military is now undergoing a transition from mechanized armaments to information armaments.
Here comes the tracked infantry fighting vehicles. This is also a troop with a long history. It took part in the Autumn Harvest Uprising in September 1927. New technology has improved its mobility and assault and defense capability. It can adapt to combat in complex terrain.
These are wheeled infantry fighting vehicles. They are part of the equipment to win wars in the information age. China has trained a new generation of officers familiar with information technology.
Amphibious infantry fighting vehicle formation is from the Navy. The division was set up in the 1980s. The O5 vehicle boasts high mobility, firepower, and strong armor. It helped China's Marine Corps become world-class troops.
Coming up are the airborne fighting vehicles. They are driven by a troop that fought in the war to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea in the 1950s. China's airborne force is capable of long-range mobility in heavy equipment airdrop and can combat with combined parachute drop and aircraft drop.
These are the O8 armed police armored vehicles. They are from the Beijing Armed Police and are known as the Snow Leopard Commando Unit. The crack troops deal with terrorist attacks, violent crimes, and other emergencies.
Are the O5 tracked self-propelled gun howitzer. This troop often takes part in ceremonies welcoming foreign guests. China's artillery force was born in wartime. It now has a full complement of weapons and streamlined structure.
The 08 tracked self-propelled howitzers are from a Red Army regiment. China's artillery force has stepped up its efforts to strengthen its self-propelling technology, enhance its information technology, and extend its fire range.
Now we are seeing the self-propelled mortar howitzers. The soldiers come from the Yeting Independent Regiment. Yeting was one of the founders of the Chinese Red Army.
wield self-propelled assault guns. The soldiers come from an artillery regiment. The guns are a powerful addition to the ground artillery force's armament.
These are the rocket guns. The unit has its origins in a student movement in the 1930s for unity against the Japanese invasion. The current unit is part of the information technology upgrade.
This is the heavy anti-tank missile formation featuring the Red Arrow 9 system. The PLA has developed individual and portable missiles, wheeled and self-propelled missiles, and helicopter airborne missiles.
The anti-aircraft artillery, which belongs to the armored regiment of a group army. Their land-based air defense system consists of anti-aircraft missiles and anti-aircraft artillery. They are very effective against low-latitude targets.
This is the anti-aircraft missile formation. The soldiers come from an air defense missile regiment. They are armed with the Hongqi 7B surface-to-air missiles. Other upgrades include a new radar model and intelligence commandeering system.
Next are ship-to-air missile, anti-ship missiles, shore-to-ship missiles. Besides a new generation of missiles, the Navy has modernized submarines, destroyers, frigates, and planes.
As the PLA Navy enters the new century, it considers the need to win local battles in an information-based environment. The Navy has improved its capability in comprehensive combat at sea, strategic deterrence and counterattack, safeguarding the rights and interests at sea and protecting the strategic passageways.
The PLA Navy has carried out many tasks such as maritime search and rescue, escorting and protecting fishing ships, supporting and safeguarding research and production. The Navy has visited dozens of countries in 5 continents and provided escort in the Gulf of Aden and off the coast of Somalia.
Now, at this moment, loyal Navy service men and women are paying tribute to Tiananmen Square with the tens of thousands of kilometers of coastline.
HQ-9 surface-to-air missile unit consists of Air Force ground-to-air missile troops. These troops have developed a combat force system based on a new generation missile, varies range and altitude capability.
Here come the HQ-12 surface-to-air missile vehicles. The troop is the main force in the land-based anti-air battle. They now have multiple types of missiles, and combo capability is both anti-air and anti-missile.
This is the mobile radar formation. This is also their debut, the first appearance in the National Day Parade. China has created a combined early warning and observation system for both air and ground.
This is the PLA's Signal Corps. These signal men come from the General Communications Station of the headquarters of the General Staff. Their information security system incorporates optical fiber cable, satellite, and shortwave communication.
This is the unmanned aerial vehicle formation, the latest in drones used for reconnaissance. They are increasingly important as the nature of warfare changes. The PLA has developed a multi-type, multi-range, multi-utility force system.
The logistical equipment formation is making its debut. The unit consists of vehicles for field surgery, staple food processing, water purification, refueling, and heavy platform. Information technology plays a big role in coordinating services.
This is the 2nd Artillery Corps formation. Their brigade has been honored with the title of #1 Ballistic Missile Brigade. The 2nd Artillery Corps controls China's nuclear and conventional strategic missiles. Its special missions is deterrence.
Coming up next is the the ground-to-ground conventional missile formation, the DF-11A can hit various targets precisely in all weather and in all directions.
And this is a debut of cruise missiles. The cruise missile unit is making their first appearances in the military parade. It's also a brigade of the 2nd Artillery Corps. The cruise missile has been called a flying bomb, used for high-value targets, can fly at low altitudes to escape detection.
Next are the medium and long-range missiles. It's from a brigade of the 2nd Artillery Force. The troops are equipped with various new generation missiles. This gives the combat force system layered striking ranges and diversified attack capabilities.
This is China's nuclear missile formation. China insists on the principle of not being the first to use nuclear weapons. But it is China's strategic deterrence force. It sticks to the strategy of using nuclear power to defend and refuses to engage in the nuclear arms race.
The Air Force will see 151 jets in 12 air echelons. Taking the lead is the flat-plane formation. The lead jet is the KJ-2000 early warning jet. Flying in escort is the August 1st aerobatic team, known as the Airborne Guard of Honor.
Early warning aircraft formation is from an air troop regiment. They are 2 KJ-200 early warning aircraft and 6 J-11 fourth generation fighter jets. The KJ-200s were developed entirely in China. They increase low space and long-range detection and scope of command.
Hong 6H jets make up the bomber formation. The Hong 6H is the main bomber of the Air Force. Each one can carry as much as a 9-ton load.
refueling formation consists of 2 HY-6 air refueling aircraft and 4 new generation fighter planes. The refueling aircraft are first for China. They can refuel 2 planes simultaneously.
Now 15 JH-7A fighter bombers are roaring above the Tiananmen Square. They are from an air troop regiment of the Navy. Besides fighter bombers, Navy aircraft also includes anti-submarine and electronic jamming planes.
The fighter groups of China's Air Force, 16 JAF, 15 J-10, and 12 J-11 fighter jets. China developed all 3 types of planes. The multifunction jets can operate in all weather and increase China's fighting capability of the Air Force.
The PLA Air Force came into being with the nation. Their objective is to create a Great Wall in the sky, and they've maintained that wall for 60 years, day and night. They've carried out various missions given by the CPC and the people to safeguard the country.
The Air Force formation showcases the capability of the PLA air troops to fight as a unified force. The Air Force is the largest in Asia, and we are sure they will continue to fly ever higher. And this is J-10 fighter flying over Tiananmen Square to be reviewed by the leaders. This is China's 3rd generation fighter capability. The fighter planes have to have big power and mobility in order to keep its fighting edge in combats. And flying in such a formation is a challenging task for fighter planes.
Now Now, 3 helicopter formations flying above consist of 10 Z-8s, 18 Z-9s for information gathering, and 18 armed Z-9s. They are from the Air Force Aviation Division, Airborne Division, and Army Air Force.
Helicopters have the advantage of broad battlefield adaptation and flexibility. They are used for low space inspection, troop transport, air-to-surface striking, and airdrop. Operations include anti-terrorism, emergency rescue, disaster relief, area photographing, and mapping.
The air troops compose a forceful symphony for the 60th anniversary National Day Parade to celebrate the founding of New China.
The last formation is the Trainer Aircraft Formation, 15 JLAs from an Air Force Flight Academy. All the captains are women who remind us of our heroines in history and the revolution. They fly alongside their male comrades, matching them in both skill and bravery.
We're looking at videos of the Chinese Navy and various types of surface ships and submarines. They are paying tribute to the motherland, celebrating the 60th anniversary of the founding of New China. And with that, we have come to the end of the military parade showcasing China's latest